Hola clase, ¿cómo están ustedes? Yo estoy súper bien y hoy vamos a hacer los números, pero antes vamos a practicar un poquito. So hopefully everything is going well for you so far this semester. We're really haven't gotten to anything too complicated, so now is a great time to reach out if you are experiencing barriers or trouble. And we will get you all squared away. Pero primero vamos a practicar las capitales. ¿Cuál es la capital de Uruguay? Excelente, Montevideo, muy bien. ¿Y la capital de Colombia? La capital es Bogotá. Perfecto, muy bien. Vamos a practicar un poquito más con el geografía y la capital. So mira en la primera foto, in the first photo, we are looking at this highlighted country en el medio. ¿Qué país? What country is this? I know that Americans are typically really good at geography. Just kidding. But this is a great way to get better at geography, know your surroundings, know your place as a global citizen. This country rhymes with Olivia. How did you get it? Bolivia. Excelente. Y hay dos capitales para Bolivia que son. Exacto. La Paz y el Sucre. Muy bien. En la segunda foto, in the second photo, ¿qué país? El país rojo. ¿Cómo se llama? What is the name of the red country? Aquí es la isla de Galapagos. These are the Galapagos Islands that belong to this country. So if you wanted to visit the Galapagos Islands, you would have to go through this country first. Ecuador, exacto. Y Ecuador significa equator. Remember that Ecuador means equator, and it's right on the equator. All right, la tercera foto, the last photo, es el más pequeño país en América Central. It is your smallest country in Central America. Es dos palabras, it's two words. El Salvador. ¿Y la capital? San Salvador. Muy bien. Pienso que hay tres más. Ok, vamos a practicar geografía y capitales. ¿Cómo se llama? Es probablemente mi país favorito en América del Sur. It's probably my favorite country in South America, but just because it's the only country I've experienced with in South America. Exacto, Perú. ¿Y cuál es la capital de Perú? It's a bean. Lima, Perú. All right, estamos en la segunda foto en América Central. ¿Qué es? Tiene agua en el nombre. No, Costa Rica. Costa Rica, Nicaragua. Nicaragua's right here. Costa Rica, Panama. La capital de Costa Rica? San Juan or San Jose? You tell me. Exacto, San Jose. Muy bien. Okay. And la última, the last one, Nicaragua. So Nicaragua is right above Costa Rica, and then you have Panama. The small one is El Salvador. La capital de Nicaragua tiene agua en el nombre. So it has water in the name. Managua, Nicaragua. Muy bien. All right, so vamos a continuar con repaso, review. So, ¿qué tiempo hace hoy? What's the weather today? So remember, ¿qué tiempo hace hoy? So you could look outside your window. Hace frío. Is it cold? Hace fresco. Is it cool? Hace calor. Is it hot? Hace buen tiempo. Hace mal tiempo. Hace sol. Is it sunny? Está nublado. Is it cloudy? Okay, para mí hoy hace frío, hace sol, pero no hace buen tiempo. Hace mucho viento. Hace mucho viento. It is very windy. Hace mucho viento. Pero vamos a practicar un poquito con las estaciones. We'll practice with the seasons. So, ¿cómo se dice winter? El invierno. Well, ¿qué tiempo hace normalmente en el invierno en Buffalo? What's the weather like normally in the winter in Buffalo? Hace frío. No hace buen tiempo. Hace viento. Oof, do you remember how to say it snows? Nieva. Nieva. Muy bien. So normalmente hace frío en el invierno en Buffalo. ¿Verdad? Normally it's cold in the winter in Buffalo. All right. ¿Cómo se dice spring? La primavera. Muy bien. ¿Y qué tiempo hace normalmente en la primavera en Buffalo? What is the weather like normally in the spring in Buffalo? Hace buen tiempo. Hace mal tiempo. Hace sol. Lluvia. Excuse me. Lluvia means it's raining. Llueve. Excuse me. Llueve. Hace fresco. Hace frío. Hace calor. Depende actualmente en el día. We really get every weather type in the spring. All right, vamos a mi estación favorita. Mi estación favorita es verano. Verano es junio, julio y agosto. ¿Y qué tiempo hace normalmente en verano en Buffalo? Exacto, hace calor, hace buen tiempo, hace sol. Exacto. ¿Cómo se dice the fall? El otoño. Muy bien. ¿Y qué tiempo hace normalmente en el otoño? Hace fresco, hace buen tiempo, hace mal tiempo, depende. Llueve, it rains. Hace viento, it's windy. ¿Qué es tu estación favorita? What's your favorite season? All right, vamos. Vamos a continuar con los números. So, if you guys have your cheat sheet out, make sure you get it. It's on Brightspace. You should be able to find it. We're really going to do hundreds, but these are review from last semester. So just to put that in perspective for you. So if you want to write it on your number sheet so you have it, that's fine. So, ¿cómo se dice 40? 40. ¿Cómo se dice 50? 50. ¿Cómo se dice 60? 60. ¿Cómo se dice 70? 70. Mira la diferencia entre 60 con S y 70 con T. Okay, hay una diferencia. ¿Cómo se dice 80? 80. ¿Y 90? 90. Okay, so 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So hoy vamos, después de practicando vocabulario, after we practice a little bit of vocab, we'll be doing the higher numbers. So if you guys have your chapter 4 vocab out, this will make it a lot easier. Remember, you need to see and hear a word 7 times before your brain memorizes it. If you're anything like me, you actually need more times than 7. So, ¿cómo se dice wedding? La boda. ¿Cómo se dice baptism? El bautizo. ¿Cómo se dice dark hair? Moreno, morena. ¿Cómo se dice pets? Mascota. ¿Cómo se dice husband and wife? El esposo, esposa. Esposo es el masculino. Esposa femenina. ¿Cómo se dice stepsisters? Las hermanastras. Las hermanastras. ¿Cómo se dice stepmom? Madrastra. Remember, astra would be step, so madrastra, hermanastra, hermanastro. ¿Cómo se dice dog? Is that dog or fat? Or how would we say fat dog? El perro gordo. El perro gordo. ¿Cómo se dice red hair? Pelirrojo. Pelirrojo. ¿Cómo se dice lazy? Which is also the same word as sloth. Perezoso. Muy bien. ¿Cómo se dice twins? Gemelos. ¿Cómo se dice grandchildren? Los nietos. ¿Y cómo se dice grandparents? Abuelos. Abuelo, abuela. Muy bien. ¿Cómo se dice grandpa? Abuelo. I just said how to say stepbrothers. Do you remember it? Hermanastros. We just did stepmother. Madrastra. So remember 7 times is a thing. Daughter. Hija. We just said grandchildren. Do you remember what it is? It starts with an N. Nietos. Y el padrino. La madrina is godmother. Padrino is godfather. So un poco de práctica, a little practice. ¿Y hay cuántas personas en tu familia? ¿Hay cuántas personas en tu familia? Yo tengo 4 personas en mi familia. Yo tengo mi esposo y tengo un hijo y una hija. So tengo 2 hijos, pero una hija y un hijo. So how many people do you have in your family? ¿Cómo se llama tu primo favorito? Mi primo favorito se llama, no sé, yo tengo muchísimo, I have a lot, pero mi favorito probablemente es Mary Beth, porque es divertida. ¿Cómo se llama tu mejor amigo? Y descríbelo. What is your best friend's name? And describe them. Mi mejor amiga se llama Rainy. Ella es alta, cómica, inteligente. Ella es jefa y madre. Ella es la madre, la reina. Okay, so these questions, I'm asking you, how many people are in your family? I means there is or there are. So if somebody asks you a question with I, you can also answer it with I. Okay, so if I said, ¿hay cuántas personas? You'd say, hay 5 personas. There are 5. And mi familia, right? Mi is a possessive adjective, my family. Tu familia, your family. ¿Cómo se llama tu primo favorito? Mi primo favorito se llama. My favorite cousin is called. Mi primo favorito se llama. Mi mejor amigo se llama. My best friend's name is. And then you would go on to describe them. Try to use 3 adjetivos. Okay, bien. That's enough review today. We're going to go to Los Números. So, on your cheat sheet, we're doing numbers 100 through, I think, 1,000. So 100 is 100. Every number after 100 is ciento. So 101, 102, 103, 104. 200 is 200. 300 is 300. You picking up a pattern? 400. Unfortunately, the pattern's broken. 500. Kind of reminds me more of like 15, quince. So 500 is definitely one that's more tricky, and you have to work a little bit harder to remember it. 500. 600. 700. So this one's a little bit tricky because usually siete has an IE. So remember with 700, you just have the E. 800. 900. Nueve. So there's a little bit of a change there. 900. 1,000 is mil. Okay, and then you would have 2,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 1,000,000, a million, 2 millones. So hopefully that will get you started. This lesson's not too complicado, but it's definitely more about memorization and knowing your vocab. So even though it's not complicated, it becomes complicated when you don't know your vocabulary. So making sure that you get the effort in. And I know that's hard to find extra minutes in your day, but it is possible. And whether that's listening to Spanish music in your car on the way to work or on the bus, or while you are waiting in between classes, you are working on some memorization. I know it takes a lot more discipline, but it's definitely possible. Discipline probably is the key word there. If we add discipline in, we can accomplish a lot more. So the rules of the numbers, las reglas de los números. For numbers between 100 and 200, use ciento. So I was kind of explaining this to you. 100 is 100. Every number after that is 101, 102, 190. So only with 100 will you use 100. The hundreds from 200 to 900 will show gender agreement. So 202 hombres, 202 men. So this is an O because I'm talking about men. So there's gender agreement. 299 mujeres, same thing. There's 299 women. I'm talking about women, so it's 200, right? So 200 is going to change with your gender. So it's 300, any number between 200 and 900. Definitely takes a while to get that. The indefinite article is not used before 1000. This is more of an English habit for me. So the correct way to say 1,000 is mil. It is not un mil. And I just like to say 1,000 because it's how we would say it in English, 1,000. But mil means 1,000. So you don't need to add the un in front of it. So it just takes a little bit of discipline. Again, back to that word discipline. So then it's mil, dos mil, tres mil after that. What I want you all to do right now is just take a second and break these numbers down. So if we were going to do 1492, we would say mil for the 1,000. Como se dice 400? 400. 92. Okay, so 1492. And notice how there's not a Y in between the 492. Only the 92 has the y dos. Okay, so go ahead and do 1959. (1776) and 2001. You can do the rest of them. If you need to pause it to take more time, you can do that. So 1959. 1959. 1776. 1700. 1776. 2001, 2001. 2001. Easy peasy. So if you're doing the date, and this is something we did a lot last year, it's always the number before the month. The easy one to remember is El Cinco de Mayo. ¿Qué es El Cinco de Mayo? What is May 5th? It is not Mexico's Independence Day. Mexico's Independence Day is September 16th. El Cinco de Mayo is a day that the Mexicans won a battle against the French in a very small pueblo, in a small town. That later led to their independence in September. And so for a long time, Cinco de Mayo was celebrated in this village because it was the turning point in Mexico gaining their independence. And there's actually more Americans that celebrate Cinco de Mayo than Mexicans. Why? Capitalism. It's so easy for us to sell you tequila y tacos on El Cinco de Mayo. And also you have no reason to know why you're doing that. You think it's Mexico Independence Day. So it's really interesting. So the next time you do Cinco de Mayo, remember it's a day that they defeated the French in a battle that later on led to their independence. And actually more Americans celebrate Cinco de Mayo than actual Mexicans. Okay, April 9th. So remember, we're putting the number before the month. So, el 9 de abril, June 30th. El 30 de junio. So again, es un tópico básico. This is a basic topic, but it becomes much more complicado si no sabe el vocabulario. If you don't know the vocab, then it's complicated. All right, so knowing vocab and learning a language is essential. October 25th, el 25 de octubre. November 19th, el 19 de noviembre. Okay, so number always before month. Thankfully, that's not too complicado. It's more the spelling and the memorization. So vamos a practicar. El vuelo a Angarwat cuesta. So we're just going to go. I have wanderlust. That means I see photos and I'm like, where is this? I want to go. Angkor Wat. ¿Dónde está Angkor Wat? Where is Angkor Wat? This is on mi lista de cosas que necesito ver antes que yo muero. These are on the things on my list that I need to do before I die. So Angkor Wat está en Cambodia. It's in Cambodia. And it's a very old, ancient palace that now has a little bit of a jungle overgrowing it, but there's lots of different sites that you can see. So this isn't really how much it would cost to fly to Angkor Wat. We're just practicing numbers here. So, ¿cómo se dice 3,599? We have to break it down. 3,500. ¿Cómo se dice 99? 99. Muy bien. El vuelo a Alemania cuesta. A flight to Germany costs $645. So you get a flight to Germany anywhere from Toronto to Germany, probably from $500 to $600 round trip, depending on what time of year you go. So how much does this cost? $645. ¿Cómo se dice? 645. ¿Dónde estamos? Where are we? Roma. El vuelo a Roma. Roma es la capital de Italia, Italy. El vuelo a Roma cuesta. A flight to Rome costs más o menos 700. More or less, probably like 700. But 800. But for practice purposes, we're saying 837. 837. 837. Muy bien. El vuelo a Longshan cuesta 2,900. ¿Cómo se dice 25? 25. 2,925. So vamos a practicar un poquito más con los números. ¿Hay cuántos países en el mundo? How many countries are there in the world? 87, 87, 195, 195, 50, 50, 118, 118. ¿Qué piensa? What do you think? 195. And actualmente ahora pienso que hay 197. I think there's 197, depending on Sudan. Now there's a north and a south. La población de México es 112 millones, 99 millones, 129 millones, 190 millones. So, ¿cuál es la población de México? What is the population? 129 millones. 129 million is the population. It also has the largest Spanish-speaking population en el mundo, in the world, with the United States coming in a close second. ¿Hay cuántas semanas en el año? ¿Hay cuántas semanas? Una semana es lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. A week. So how many weeks en un año? How many weeks in a year? 42, 42, 62, 62, 52, 52, 72. Hay 52. Those switched a little bit, but that's okay. ¿Cuántos años es la más vieja universidad? How old is the oldest university? 551. Ooh, I just gave you the answer with my funny fingers. Okay, so regardless, ¿cómo se dice 756? 756, exacto. ¿Cómo se dice 1250? 1250, muy bien. 931, 931. So 931 years old is the oldest university. ¿Cuántos años es los Estados Unidos? Y actualmente, I think there's like 2 years off here too. I might need to add a couple of years. How old? How many years are we? 240, 1776, 400, 130. Exacto. 240. So we are 242 years old, I think. Muy joven. We're actually very young. ¿Cuánto cuesta un vuelo de Toronto a Barcelona? So how much would a flight cost from Toronto to Barcelona? 610, 950, 430, 715. Exacto. Y quizás menos, sometimes even cheaper. A round trip flight might be like $500 to Toronto and Barcelona, depending if you're looking at the right time. And in general, Spain is very cheap, and so it's a great place to visit. Okay, so I think we've gotten our 30 minutes in. We've done a review. We've done some numbers. We've looked at places to travel. So remember, with numbers and a lot of what we're doing, it is definitely memorization. So get that time in when you can to be able to, see it 7 times, hear it 7 times until it just becomes practice. Que tenga buen día. I hope you have a great day. Y nos vemos pronto. We'll see each other soon. Ciao.